do progress go? Hey, why am I underneath all the emails, calls, paperwork, and stuff? More stuff. Is there an end to this? I'm a prisoner of my own machine.
Sound familiar? Well, it's time to get out of all that stuff and get your life back with the VIP Coach. No Hype Allowed. Hosted by Executive Performance Coach John Davidson and HighLevelPerformance.com. Here's your host, JD.
JD, that's what they call me, the Dalai Lama, the Sultan, the Juggernaut, the legend of coaching. Well, it's just fun to say all that. I just figured I'd just say it up front. How you doing, folks? Hey, it's great to be back here at No Hype Allowed. This is Coach JD. We're going to have a lot of fun today because today we're going to talk about how to be immune to this downturn in the market. You're not even going to have to look at it. You're going to be, after today's show, an industry transformer. That's right, folks. You thought the Transformers were exciting. Now you're going to be an industry transformer, and that doesn't mean that you're going to change into some childhood toy. That means that you are going to be able to look at your business a certain way, make the kind of decisions that you need to make, come at things in your business so that you are rising to a whole new level. It's not that you're going down with the conditions. You are rising up. And let's face it, man, there's a lot of tough stuff going on. Gas prices, right, in California, have hit $4.02. They're saying it could go up to $5, $6. What do you think about that? I'm thinking, boy, I'm going to be paying a lot more at the pump. I'm going to be probably paying more for food. It's really got me thinking how much we really rely on energy in so many different ways. As I look around my house, I'm seeing different things now through the lens of energy. I hadn't thought about that before. I'm very sensitive to this. But all in all, I mean, have you thought about this, that, as much as we got 2 cars on the road for each driver, which is really a luxury. Remember back in the early 1900s, I mean, having a car was a total luxury. Grandma and Grandpa having a car, it was a dream. Now, having a car, it's normal. Maybe we'll get back to bikes. I don't know. I'm going to be buying some stock in Schwinn. How about you? We'll get back to natural transportation. Hey, maybe we'll see a lot more horses on the street. Maybe we'll see some more horse and buggies. But, this whole thing that's going on here, it's really easy to get caught up in it and dampen your spirits. And like I've said on the show, being a high-performing entrepreneur who really beats this, it's about a couple of things. And let's go back to those fundamentals. It's about having uncommon skills. Uncommon skills. It's about being different. It's about the way you do business. It's not what you sell. It's about the way that you sell it. It's not what you sell. Let's face it. I mean, we have pretty much solved the utility game. I don't know if I can't reinvent the fly swatter. There's plenty of them out there. The tennis racket has been invented. The couch has been invented. Most things have come into being, although there's a lot of new technologies and things, but I'm talking about products, services. I mean, we've pretty much figured out that there is a loan for a house, right? There's not so many different ways we can do a loan. There's a loan for a house. So there are products and services out there, but what about significance? Significance is the centerpiece of the conversations today. How can you be a front runner and be more significant? How can you be a Lance Armstrong? How can you lap the field? And people are behind you and they're trying to figure out, what the heck are you doing? How are you doing it? It's like you're a magician. How are you rising to a whole new level? How is it working? And what's funny is it's really not that much of an accident. I mean, it's pretty obvious why you pull ahead. You have something that you do that is a smoking gun. You have an asset. You have a business. You have a concept. You have a model. You have a unique process, a way that you do it, a design in which you deliver your business. From the time that you earn a lead to the way that you close the lead to the way that you get that lead serviced and deliver your product or service to them and make them happy, to re-attracting that lead, to getting them back into your business again. Now, why is it that when we are in tougher times, we suddenly rise to a whole new level of excellence? Why does it have to be conditional, that we suddenly just tighten everything up, we get more efficient? Why aren't we doing that all the time? Why does it have to be conditions? Well, it's inevitable. I mean, of course, change is happening, so it gets us to look at certain things. But let's take the positive side of this. What is it really getting us to do? It's getting us to rethink the way we're doing business. It's getting us to rethink our resources, where we're focusing our time, right? We don't want to be wasting our time on the vampires, on the non-productive activities. It's causing us to really think about how we're using our time. It's causing us to think about what we really sell. What's the viability that we really have to sell it with? What about the market itself? I wouldn't want to be in the real estate market. That's the wrong sandbox. But it also causes us to look at the most important piece, actually two of them. And this contributes to how significant we are, and that is our audience, our clients. How well do you know your client? I ask you that question, and you probably at first glance say, I know my clients so well, JD. I know exactly what they do. I know exactly who they are. I know why they buy. Do you really? Do you really, really understand your client? Do you understand what they do, how they think, what they read, what they're concerned about, why they buy from you? When was the last time you checked? What are you doing to be indispensable to your current clients? What are you doing to be indispensable to your current clients? Are you creating a new angle on business? Are there other accessories that you can bring to them? Are there ways that you can create additional value? If you're a contractor, for example, and you are selling tile and marble solutions, but yet your clients are buying cabinetry as well, why aren't you hosting cabinetry? Stay with your core business, but why aren't you offering cabinetry too? What more can you bring to your current client? Without liability, mind you. And let's not steer away from your core purpose in business or your core process. However, there are other things that maybe you could be providing, or maybe there's other services of people's or folks or individuals or businesses, or maybe there's other businesses that you could channel or move through your aperture, and you could bring them to your clients as well. The whole point here is that your focal point is your client. What do they want? What's most important to them? What are they worried about? How are you eliminating those worries? What are they confident about? And how can you stimulate that confidence? Right? And what are they most proud of? What are they doing that's working that you can help them do more of? Because you're in a business that helps people solve problems. You're in a business that is a resource for individuals. I don't care if it's a product or if it's a service. The real value in what you have to offer is your wisdom. Don't argue with me on this. It is your wisdom. I'm dead on about it. It is your wisdom, because at the end of the day, the reason why your people buy is they buy people. Tell me something. When the last time you bought a product or something that was expensive, was it the product or was it the person behind it? I'll bet you it had to do with who made the product, the people behind it, the person that showed it to you, the person that followed it up with you, the person that took you into creating the order and so forth. And if it wasn't, it should have been. Because it's really about people. We're in the people business, folks. Products and services are just a byproduct of what we produce. By creatively designing it, it proves the solutions that we make. But at the end of the day, what we're really buying is we're buying hope. We're buying intangibles. We're buying peace. We're buying confidence. We're buying the ability to have something that we want. We're buying pleasure. We're buying feeling good. All of those things. So what are you putting your eye on? Yes, you should focus on your product. Yes, you should focus on efficiencies. Yes, you should eliminate delays, and yes, you should eliminate costs. But pay attention. Pay attention to the relational element. They're looking at your wisdom in the creative design of your business, your wisdom in the way you can help them buy smart what they're buying, your wisdom in showing them how they can better address their own world. How could you package that wisdom? How could you sell it for a premium? How could you advertise that wisdom? How could you take that wisdom and maybe do this? What if instead of finding a market, how could you create a market? I mean, the Palm Pilot. Now, here's something that was loaded with wisdom. Why did we buy the Palm Pilot? Because we felt we needed to. It wasn't because there was a market there and the Palm Pilot was found. No, it was centric around an invention. We created something and then made people feel bad if they didn't have one. It's the same thing with a BlackBerry. We create an invention and then make people feel bad if they don't have one. The same thing with the computer. We create an invention and then make people feel bad if they don't have one. Because it's this have-to-have-it mentality that us marketers need to be marketing. We need to create something that makes people feel a loss or privileged if they have it. They have a loss if they don't have it. Because truly, we can provide something that is unique, one of a kind, something that no one else does, that only that customer is going to buy from you. And it's got to be something darn special. If it's not special, guess what you're left with? Commoditization. You're left with price. You're left with coming in at the lowest price, and you know what happens there, right? You'd love to take that new trip at the end of the year. You'd love to be able to sell that business for more than it's worth, right? You'd love to be able to pull more money out of it, but you just can't because what's happening? The margins are thinning. The margins are thinning. The margins are thinning. You're hearing it everywhere. And it's not about a price thing. You think, well, I need to go and compete on where price is. You don't need to compete on price. You need to compete on value. You get paid for value. Value is in the eye of the beholder. It is. It's in the eye of the beholder. It's a custom design. It's not what everybody wants. It's what he wants. It's what she wants. It's rationing it down to every customer, every interlude, every romantic situation, for lack of a better word. Every crossover, every moment of truth, every pivot that you have to create value. Now, so how do we package this unique wisdom? Well, let's start with what you're currently doing. Let's look at how you're generating leads. How are you generating leads for your business? First of all, how many leads do you want to generate? I'm sure it surprises you to hear me saying, look, we need to set some goals. You don't need to lower what you ask for because there's not enough meat on the bone. Continue setting upon yourself what you need to go after so that you motivate yourself. Goals are not about what it is, it's about what it does to you. So let's go back to the basics here. How much business do you want to generate? How much business do you want to generate? Are you going to be manipulated by this little narrowing piece of business that you see weeding away? Or are we going to generate some business? You know why? Because you're more of a master of your destiny than you think of. Let's create demand for what you do. Let's not find a little narrowing down demand that's just wheedling off every single day and dying on the vine. You're going to die a slow death. You're going to be going after what's left. Let's create a demand for what you do. Let's create a process that people probably would want, but they don't know about yet. Let's rethink how you come at the world with your business concept. What is your core offer? I mean, I'm sure I'm in a business, even the coaching business right now, which many think is a luxury. How do I make coaching indispensable to people? I need to come at coaching with a sense of creating demand for coaching. I need to tell a story, or I need to make it clear, make it clear for my potential buyer that there is hope in getting something, that there is a story out there that may interest this person, and therefore, if they want to avoid the anxiety of what I'm talking about, then they need to do something about it. So how do we create a demand for what we do? Well, there's a couple different ways to do it. The first thing I would suggest you do is start off with a menu of pain. Your buyers buy based on pain that they want to avoid, something that hurts, what I call a 3 a.m. problem, or something that they truly want, a deep aspiration, something that they really, really want. And maybe they've rationalized out their ability to get it, but if they could get it, it would totally tantalize their world. So organizing your lead generation system starts with your motivator. How are you going to surface the motivator? You're not going to find the motivator. You're not going to be out there searching for the people that recognize they have a problem. You know why? Because that's only 5% of the market. Your sales territory hopefully is opening up via this conversation. Your conceptual sales territory, guys, is 95% of the market. I'm asking you to hunt for not looking buyers. Does that sound a little crazy? Lead generation is hunting. I'm asking you to get the kind of gun to hunt the kind of elephants you want to hunt so that you can create demand for what you do. How do you create demand for what you do? It starts off with clarifying what the points of pain are. So let me run through this with you. Let's talk about implementing it. Let's use coaching as an example. Now, of course, I'm selling an intangible, but aren't we all at the end of the day? So how I'm going to create a demand is, first, a person is probably exhausted. They're working very, very long hours. I'm thinking of the executive or the high-level decision maker that is predisposed to need me. They are probably putting out fires constantly. They're not getting enough out of their team. They are having problems with partners. They're probably bickering, or they feel like their relationship is inequitable or unfair. They can't trust them because of certain activities or behaviors. Or maybe another side of it, another item on the menu of pain is they are not making the most of their business opportunity. Or maybe they're just overwhelmed. Or maybe they're winging it and they're flying by the seat of their pants. I want you to get that this is not a need. We're not talking about a need here. We're talking about a pain. A pain is a pre-existing need. It's a motive to change. And in all of our businesses, there are pre-existing situations that the buyer either wants to avoid an oncoming cost of having it, or wants to displace a current cost. It's nagging. It sucks. They don't want to have it anymore. They want to do away with it. They don't want it anymore. And we need to solve that somehow. We need to use our unique wisdom to present a solution so that they can eliminate that pain. And that's it. That's the first side of it. The second side of it is some kind of goal. What are the top 5 or 10 objectives, goals, aspirations, deepest wishes of your buyers? Really thinking about your buyer. How do they come at life? You know, they're coming at life with probably 5 to 10 very important values, aspirations that they really, really want. So let's use coaching as an example. I mean, I know one of those aspirations is to be taking off a lot of time. Business owners really want to be able to take multiple vacations. It's really about freedom. It's not about money. And so their goals stem, the root of their goals is in freedom. So my marketing message is going to be about freeing them up. They want to be able to kind of get away and get a business that serves their life, not consume it. They sleep it, they eat it, they think it, they would love to have that. And it would be their perfect life. You know, another goal or aspiration is to have a team that loves their business as much as they do. How many times do you hear from your team, I think I'm going to look elsewhere, because they don't really care about what you have. The game isn't worth playing. So what a business owner would absolutely be loving doing is having a team that would take ownership, love their business as much as they would, work the longer hours, come in on time, and take the kind of responsibility that an owner would. Let's face it, you probably feel like you care about your business more than they do. And in some fact, you do. That's a very true statement. But could you get more? Sure, and I bet it's on your list of aspirations. What would be another one? To sell the business big, right? To have something to show for your hard work, to build up the equity side of your business, build balance sheet, have an asset you could retire with. Wouldn't that be outstanding? How about this one? Retire from the thought of retiring. If you could be doing all the activities in your business that are fun, why would it seem like work? Wouldn't that be a fun aspiration that you could have? See, and in all these, here's what I'm asking myself is, do I have a suitable solution? Do I have a fulfillment system that can help that buyer achieve that? Because if it's not honest, then the offer is too good to be true. When Domino's said, hey, look, we know our buyer's goal. It's to get speed. It's to get the pizza there quickly. These are hungry people. The game is starting. The last thing they want to do is wait. So their goal is to get a really tasty pizza and get it there quickly. So our irresistible offer is, we're going to get the pizza there in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. That revolutionized the pizza industry. It was so irresistible. It was a high ROI offer. It had a very little risk to it, right? It was easy to get because, hey, I got it in 30 minutes or I don't pay for it. What a great deal. See? And Domino's knew that they could do that they could organize their process around delivering that in 30 minutes. So their delivery team had to be acclimated to that. They had to take their unique production process, their pizza dough making, all the teamwork, the assembly line in there had to be reworked. All of those components, those elements in the show to deliver a show-stopping, within 30-minute performance was the biggest organizing factor in that business, because it started with the lead generation promise. How are they going to create a demand? They were going to tell a customer they could do something and then do it. And do it better, and do it faster, and do it more efficiently, and do it on time, and do it consistently, so that there's an ongoing brand and a perception in the eyes of the customer. I'm going to buy Domino's again. It came in on time, or if it didn't, I didn't spend any money, and I still ate the pizza. So we're going to take a break. I'm going to be right back. We're going to talk more about how to stay immune in this recession.
Congratulations. You've become a success in the business world. You've set goals and you've surpassed them. But now you ask yourself,
how can I muster the ambition and time to continue encouraging growth and still have time to enjoy life? Where did the excitement and ambition I once had go?
that's where we come in. High-level performance. Executive coaches that, simply put, in 3 years could help you triple your income, triple your fun, and triple your free time. Find out more at highlevelperformance.com. That's highlevelperformance.com. highlevelperformance.com.
After a long, hard day with the global war on terrorism, open a tall, cool Kyle Warren show. Ah, that crisp, refreshing taste, that smooth style, that effervescing attitude, and without all that other stuff that can, well, bog you down. Helping to put back what the daily media assault takes away, The Kyle Warren Show, each weekday on Talk2K.com. That's The Kyle Warren Show on Talk2K.com.
Bogged down with all the stuff? Things gotten tough with all the success? Get ready for freedom with the VIP Coach. You're listening to No Hype Allowed with Executive Coach John Davidson.
Thank you. Great to be back, JD here. We're talking about recession immunity, being an industry transformer, being completely untouched and rising to a whole new level. And we've been talking about marketeering a certain way in your business and coming at it from the standpoint of creating a demand for what you do as opposed to colloquially finding a demand, surveying that market, making sure the risk is low, developing a solution. Yeah, I got news for you. That may take you a year to find out. And all that feasibility work, your competitor's going to pass you right up because he's going to already have created a demand. See, because if you create the demand, you can get fast feedback loops and develop products and prototypes at a lower cost and trials and adjust and acclimate so that you ultimately win that market. But we're talking about creating the market first, then developing the solution, instead of developing the solution and finding the market. There is probably not a market for your best wisdom. I'm going to tell you that right now because you haven't tapped your best wisdom. And if you could really think, if you had the opportunity to really think, freeing yourself up to really think, you could probably tap the kind of breakthroughs that we're talking about, to really think about new platitudes, new premises for new markets. And then look at the content of that, taking the menu of pain or the list of aspirations and developing ready messages. What are the venues under which you're going to contact that customer? Are you going to mail them? How are you going to draw in your potential market? How are you going to help your market realize a need for what you do? Well, let's look at how that market is trained to respond. There's some preconceived training. First of all, the market is either rationalized out a solution or they're totally ignorant to what you're considering. They have no clue, no idea. I want you to imagine that that buyer that you're looking for has 3 slots in the front of her mind. And over time, there's an erosion going on. There's only 3 main priorities, 3 things, and people are darn busy these days because you can imagine how shortchanging those 3 things happen in their minds. Like, things are moving around. So getting mind share is a really key asset today. Getting mind share. It's not about just getting their business. It's getting their attention. Getting mind share. Buyers are feeling distracted. Buyers are feeling like there's many, many options, right? Utility has been solved. There's a solution for most things. So we're talking about specialty, novelty, nuance, creating something, a new dance for the customer, something they haven't seen before, something innovative. But we know that they're ignorant to this potentially. Now, they could have rationalized it out, so let's take that on. Maybe they were looking for a solution at one point. They had some hope, but that solution didn't happen, so they've stopped hoping. Let's say my hair's falling out. I want to find a hair solution. I look for an opportunity. I look for options. I go and try to implement that. It looks like crap. It doesn't work. I discontinue looking because I'm disgruntled with what I thought I could get. So I discontinue the possibility. I close the aperture on looking for any further solutions. Suddenly one day somebody comes along and says something like, look, one of the chief concerns that people are having is their appeal, their sex appeal with the way that their hair looks. We've been able to help them solve that and would like the opportunity to share with you how. Now, if I've rationalized that out, based on what I'm hearing, it may resurrect some of my hope. You mean you actually do that? Does your approach really work? Is your approach any different than the previous approach that I had? So your potential market, the market I'm telling you to invent, the demand I'm asking you to create, has either rationalized it out or they have completely gotten ignorant. They are not familiar with what you are talking about. So get this. We're talking about getting to them before they get to you. See, that's it, folks. We're taking on a proactive way of doing business. Rather than being reactively marketing, we're doing leadership marketing. We're creating a market. We are bolstering a market. We're galvanizing a market, packaging a market, and we're supplying a market. Now, as I said at the onset just after the break, how do we get these breakthroughs? I have learned with working with entrepreneurs over the years, they don't get breakthroughs in their business. They get breakthroughs away from their business. This business is an attention occupancy 24/7. You probably can't stop thinking about it. Your business is on your mind all the time, especially when it's not doing well. And it's this giant consumption function that just seems to occupy your attention up in those front slots all the time. What do I do with this? How can I make it better? How do I solve this? How do I get here? How do I go there? And so forth. But what if you really had a way where you could step out of your business and you could see it, much like you've been in love for a while and you step away and now you can really see the dynamics of the relationship. And this involves changing how you honor and prioritize free time. Because ideas that come to you about addressing your markets come from the shower. They come from the drive up north. They come from the time at the family outing. See, they creep up on you. They pop up on you. The learning process is not just inside the business. The learning process is outer. It comes from being out of it. Get out of the nest. Get away from it. It comes from seeing it from afar. In fact, it's almost like you're released from the holds of it so that you can rise up and reawaken the entrepreneur. Get back into that dreamy thinking. Let your right brain start talking to you again, yelling at you, screaming at you, hammering at you. That right brain is what's trying to get into your creativity. That right brain is what's got all of that neat stuff, the significance. Now, I want to mention to you, in thinking through this, think about 4 particular angles. Think about 4 particular angles. I'm talking about how much time you spend outside your business. Because if you're always working your left brain and you're doing tasking and logic and reports and all those automated things, you're losing your significance. You know what you are? You're losing yourself to going overseas because all those activities that your left brain is working on, you're going to be fired from those things. And if you're working on those things, guess what? You're going to be invisible because someone who can get paid a lot less than you can do that. If you're in the web design business, right? Somebody can deliver a website for now half of what you cost or maybe even a fourth. So it's really about your wisdom. It's about your unique process. That's survival, man. So I'm going to give you a way to think about it in 4 different ways. Here's what the consumer is probably going to get the most value from. Number 1, the number 1 most point of creating value or creating a solution, plotting a solution, creating a demand is lowering the complexity in their life. Simplicity has become one of the highest priorities in our society. Why? Because we live in a society of abundance. I've talked about this on previous shows. We are distracted by way too much to pay attention to, and we live in a techno-tragic environment. We have way too much to pay attention to. Whatever happened to the desert, the mountains, the oceans, whatever happened to peace, whatever happened to meaning, whatever happened to purpose, whatever happened to connectedness. Our lives are becoming complexity-oriented. We live in a complex world. Why is it that every time a client comes back from a third world country, they come back and say the same thing to me every single time? You know what they say to me? Why do we need all this stuff? Who the heck has gotten us believing that we can't live without all of this stuff? I mean, think about it. If you made half of what you make now, what would be the top 5 things that you would truly be unhappy without? I mean, really think about that. See, those are the kinds of things that your potential markets, the markets that you're going to create wisdom for, are thinking about, guys. Why is it that Rick Warren's The Purpose-Driven Life is the top-selling book? Why is it that yoga classes are at an all-time enrollment high? Why is it that Dr. Laura Dr. Laura Schlesinger or Oprah Winfrey are talking about living your best life, getting back to the simple things, paying attention to your family, doing the juice of life. So really think about this. It's really about access, connectivity, purpose, meaning. It's about getting away from stuff. So when you think about your breakthroughs, connect it to complexity. How can you lower the stuff? How can you lower the complexity, the noise in your buyers' lives? How can you take it from complexity to synthesizing it down to simplicity? Fusion. One step. Easy. Eliminate the delay. Push one button. That's what they're looking for. It's a push one button solution. Make it easy. Don't make it complex. You know why? They don't have the time. They don't feel they've got the time to deal with it. They don't have the time to wait. They don't have the time to be patient. They want it now. So make it simple yet meaningful. Number two. The number two biggest area of value creation right now, based on complexity. Let's say you're a business-to-business service or a business-to-business product, for example, is this. It's isolation. We are being isolated. Although the internet is connecting us to people we don't know, we are isolating ourselves from people around us every minute, every hour. Because we're more into our computers than we are more into people. We're more into our gadgets than we are into talking. I mean, look at Starbucks these days. Does anybody say hello to each other? You walk into one of these places, it's supposed to be a community. It's all about people just working on their own stuff. I mean, we're turning ourselves onto ourselves to such a degree where we have our own little inner world. And the challenge is there's a raising of awareness about this. It's becoming scarce. It's becoming a fear factor that we are isolated from each other. So how can you, with your product, how can you eliminate the isolation that entrepreneurs and people are feeling out there, that they aren't able to talk to people, that people are not reachable, they don't say hello to each other on the streets, that we're not connected? I heard a business owner tell me the other day his competitive advantage. It blew me out of my chair. I was waiting for something completely incredible. I wanted him to tell me something ingenious. And he said, "We're nice." I said, "You're nice?" He said, "Yep, we're nice. We're just kind people." And he says, "That's what we focus on." I said, "You're nice?" He says, "Yes, we really focus on the companionship in our service process. We focus on being success partners with these people. We are success allies in our insurance servicing." I said, "Right on." He says, "That's our advantage. We're going to beat out the competitor by just being nice." And he says, all we hear from people all day long is, "Wow, you guys are just nice." Nice. Nice. Should that be fair? It's just about being nice? When was nice so incredibly winning? It's just nice. Just be nice. Hey, just be nice. That's a smoking gun. That's just being nice. What they're really saying is I feel friendly with you. I feel warmth. I feel that we're connected. I feel that you're supporting me. It's about being nice. It's about support. It's that altruistic impact of focusing on the third person, focusing outside. It's about being nice. Now, you can be nice, or you can figure out some other way to remove the isolation, but think about how to retain the connectivity, how to keep the connection. Number 3 is confusion. Have you felt like you can't keep up with every new thing that's turning up? I mean, there's new websites coming out. There's podcasts coming up here. How do you get an RSS feed? There's all this new technology, and there's a gap going on here between the current level of using it and the technologies that are coming out. It's coming out faster than we can learn it. I mean, I don't even want to buy one of these gadgets because it takes me longer to learn it than the benefit of it. So there's a confusion going on in that although our identity is becoming techno-savvy, we're not there. We can't seem to get there. How many people are not using the full resources of what you offer? They're not getting trained on it. They're not getting educated on it. They're not getting ready with it. They're not using the full scope. If you're a software company, they're not using the full scope of it. They're not really taking on the full scope, all the corners of what you're offering. They're not taking on the full corners of your service experience. They're not using everything you got. They're not learning everything that they have. They're not learning how to use the full product. They're not learning how the exercise machine works. It's too complicated to use. Why even try? Right? They don't even want to plug in the thing into their computer because they don't even know how it goes in there. They don't want to use the email process that you have or the new add-on because it's just too much to learn. People are confused. They're frustrated because technology is coming out faster than the time they feel they can learn it. So getting ahead means solving solutions, bringing in extra additives, solutions, getting a competitive edge by solving this confusion. And the fourth one is commoditization. If you're in a business-to-business environment, how can you help another person stand out in the world that they're in? How can you help them be more effective by developing their own uniqueness, their own authenticity, by developing what they do in ways where they are dominant to their competition, by developing areas, assets, activities, processes, things that they do that are far superior, that they engage in, that they enjoy doing, that they have a natural aptitude for. Maybe if it's service, it's a unique ability, it's a unique talent that you can help cultivate in others. Maybe if it's something else that your clients do and it's a business, how can you help their business stand out more? How can you help their business become more capable, more, bigger, better, faster, stronger? How can you do that over a lifetime? How can you be a resource for them to do that? How can you take away commoditization as a threat in their world? Commoditization means the opposite of staying power. It means that they are being judged only on a commoditization lens. How can you remove the commoditization lens? By helping them give the people that value what they do much, much more, many more reasons, more value, more tricks, more accessories, more neat things that are important to the people that pay them in exchange for their value. So let me go over those again. In creating value and creating markets, look through the lens, get your breakthroughs outside your business. And when you think about it, think on the platform of complexity. What are you doing right now in your business to lower the complexity and increase the simplicity and the efficiency of your buyer's relationship with you? Where are areas you could change that? Where could you optimize that? Where could you remove delays? Where could you increase the power there? Where could you increase the impact? What processes need to change? What's working? What's not working? What are the red lights? What are the green lights? Next, isolation. How can you reconnect people? How can you get reconnected with your clients? How can you get that sense of connection going? How can you teach people that sense of connection is what it's really all about? How can you bring people together in ways where they feel reconnected? Because that is what's scaring people, is that we're losing the spirit of it. How can you bring families together so that they eat together? How can you bring people together so that they interact? Number 3, confusion. How can you help people identify the things that they need to be doing, learning, getting educated on, so that they are able to identify the learning curve, feeling competent, getting up on what they need to be using to be effective? And 4th, commoditization. How can you remove the cascade of invisibility? How can you help them be visible, be valuable, be better, be considered by others around them? How can you take their strengths, their assets, their faculties, and how can you strengthen those? How can you complement those? What can you do to supplement those? What can you do to support those and galvanize them? I'm calling upon you to be an industry transformer. That's what this show is about today. I truly believe that if you use the information in this show and you take it to point B, you take it to implementing it, you will take delivery of terrific value too. As always, no hype allowed. We have a world-class coaching program that takes all of the concepts and strategies that I talk about on this show and actually put them into your life. Because taking these back into your life, I know, is tough. Hey, change isn't easy. You got a lot of people to organize. You got to take it back in. It's like a heart transplant. It may reject what you're talking about immediately. You sound like you're on cloud 9 with all these new ideas. Hey, where are you getting all this stuff? That's what our coaching program is for, is we help entrepreneurs set and reach impossible goals. We help them take it to a whole new level. You can get involved at 714-375-6624. We also have an online web store at highlevelperformance.com. And, of course, you can visit our webcast, if you're not there already, at nohypeallowed.com. As always, make it a productive one. Talk to you later. Coach JD out.
Overwhelmed? Can't get to anything you planned?
Has the thrill ride of too much gotten ahead of you?
Get back that confidence with the VIP Coach. No hype allowed.